What if I told you that Cinderella is not just a fairy tale, but a blueprint for manifesting your dreams? I know a lot of people love to dismiss Cinderella as an outdated story about a woman waiting for a man to save her. But what if we look at it as a parable and not just some bedtime fairy tale? A parable is meant to be read symbolically, not literally. I mean, who takes a pair of glass slippers literally? And it is no surprise that it has resonated so deeply in our collective psyche with hundreds of versions across cultures spanning thousands of years. The earliest known version dates back to 7 BC, where a Greek slave girl named Rhodopis is bathing by the Nile when an eagle snatches her sandal and drops it in front of the king of Egypt. Intrigued, the king searches for her and eventually marries her. The story's staying power reveals its universal appeal. So let's break it down. A wealthy man remarries a cruel woman with two equally awful daughters, while his own child, Cinderella, is kind. Don't get caught up on the aesthetics. In fact, one Cinderella story has the cruel sisters being beautiful and Cinderella being scarred. It's all about their inner alignment. Cinderella's stepmother works her relentlessly, forcing her to scrub and clean all day. At night, Cinderella sleeps by the fireplace for warmth. And here's one important gem. She doesn't let it get her down. Far from it. She stays aligned with the love that she is, chats with the animals, and appreciates life while dreaming of a better day. To the untrained eye, it may look like Cinderella is being a doormat. Meanwhile, Cinderella is basically a master manifester. It's these very challenges that spark our deepest desires. By experiencing what we don't want, we get crystal clear on what we do want. Cinderella's drudgery made her yearn for joy, freedom, and love. The moment you desire something, the universe starts rearranging itself to make it happen. To experience this creation, you'll have to become a vibrational match to it. This thing or experience you want is going to make you feel great, right? So you've got to authentically feel good about life in order to let it in. And the creation is often more amazing than your mind can imagine because it combines so many wishes you have been accruing over time. If we look at Cinderella's story arc, she begins life in peak contrast. And that's step one of the creative act. She's orphaned, terribly treated, and these stories don't take place in the days of girl bosses or DoorDash convenience. They take place when women were often slaves. She's masterful in that despite her circumstances, she never sees herself as unworthy. When an invitation to the royal ball arrives, she doesn't say, "Oh, I'm just a maid. I don't deserve to go." Nope, she grabs her needle and thread and starts preparing. Of course, the toxic stepsisters, triggered in their own insecurity, freak out and rip her dress apart. And for a moment, Cinderella does break down. But when she runs into the garden, seemingly giving up, she hasn't. That feeling of giving up is actually a releasing of the how. You can never give up on your true desire, but she gives up on trying to force it to happen. And that's the precise reason why her fairy godmother enters at this point in the story and not a moment sooner. Bibbidi boppity boop. The universe provides a full-blown glow-up. Better dress, better transportation. Okay, so sure, your pet is probably not going to transform into a personal assistant, and that butternut squash on your counter isn't going to turn into a Bentley. But you may get inspired to learn something new, get an invitation to a dinner, have a breakthrough creative idea that turns into your dream vehicle. We all want different things. Back to the parable. Now, about the prince. He's not just some rich guy with a castle. As a metaphor, royalty just symbolizes direct connection with the divine. In truth, we are all extensions of the divine. Again, it's a symbol. Have you seen the headlines of real-life royalty? It's not all that it's cracked up to be. But again, Cinderella is a metaphor. She is fully in tune with the truth of who she really is, and naturally aligns with someone who is a symbol of this as well. Then there's the glass slipper. It's made of glass to represent how your creation is 100% tailored to you. It will not fit anybody else. And even if you have a momentary dip, that iconic scene of running down the stairs at midnight in fear of being found out represents Cinderella going through a moment of expansion and not yet fully able to sustain her new alignment. But because her desire has enough momentum, and as she stays connected to her true self, By the laws of the universe, she must rendezvous with her creation, and so, of course, her romance finds her. Now, perhaps a stuffy castle isn't your thing, but an eco-friendly community with organic food gardens, and maybe not some bougie person, but maybe this one. The wonderful thing is, this quantum universe gets to deliver to you exactly what you asked for, and it's through our individual desires that this universe keeps evolving. And if you're still skeptical, consider this. A study by psychologist Ellen Langer, one of Harvard's favorite psychology professors, found that hotel maids who believed their work was exercised showed health improvements, even without changing their routines. And nothing happened to the control group. All to say, maybe you're stuck in a job that doesn't spark joy, navigating finances that feel limiting, or just feeling overwhelmed by it all. If you follow these principles of what I call the Cinderella Effect, you can experience instant relief and eventually a flow of dreams coming true as a consistent practice. I know this is easier said than done, especially if you're having a stepsister moment where you're focused on everything being crap. Or you're so busy seeing all the things you don't want that you are shouting no at it. As this is an inclusive universe, whatever you push against only gets stronger. I mean, how is that strategy working out for people? And you found this video. That's also a sign that you're open to a different way of doing things. And that means you can change the algorithm of your life. The more of us who do this, the more amazing the solutions and creations are that can land. And if you want to know what is already waiting for you in your vortex, I've created a special method in the link below that takes your lived experience and plugs it into an algorithm that delivers your unique vortex report. And if you like the metaphysical breakdown of this timeless tale, subscribe for more. I'm thinking of doing Adam and Eve next. Let me know in the comments what other parables or fairy tales you'd like for me to break down.